You're not crazy. I think a lot of people feel that, and they think that when they're in a narcissistic relationship, they feel, am I actually the crazy one? Well, typically that's because the narcissist is fabricating and making everything seem like you're the crazy one. There's so many people that I talk to on a day-to-day basis, whether it's in live events or in Zoom or even on the Narc app, when I'm talking to people that they just feel like, I don't understand what's going on. I'm normally a strong person. I'm normally a person who has everything put together. I'm normally a person that's made a life for myself that doesn't need someone, that doesn't even have to rely on someone. I had someone the other day that talked to me and they were like, I'm not the typical person that a narcissist preys on because I had it all together. Unfortunately, they don't just go after a certain select group of people, but they can target anybody. If you've been a victim of narcissistic abuse, you might be one of those people that feel crazy in the moment because you don't understand what's going on. You don't understand what you've been put through. You don't understand how you're supposed to feel, how you're supposed to act, how you're supposed to respond now. And all of that has been building up over a period of time. Most people don't get into a relationship with someone and be like, wow, this is the crazy relationship. This is really insane. This is really abusive. They don't get into those relationships to start off with. It happens over time. You might have been someone that you came into the relationship with a house that you already had paid for or that you already were living in, a secured job, great friends, good relationships with your family, and all of those seem to have faded away or have changed or have been destroyed. And a lot of times that is through the narcissist's crazy making of what they put you through. For me as a narcissist, putting people through that crazy making seemed normal. The chaos that was always around me seemed like it was something that was just part of my life. This is just who I am. This is just part of my everyday thoughts, my everyday struggles. But I didn't realize it. It was something that I kept putting people through. The chaos that I always used as being a victim of, hey, all this stuff is happening to me, all these people are leaving me, was actually the chaos that I was creating inside and putting on everyone else. And you see, as a narcissist on this platform, my goal is to help other people understand more about narcissism and the chaos that ensues from it, the crazy making that ends up having on your life. And I want to help people grow, change, and heal so that they can learn what narcissism is and they can protect themselves from it going forward. To make sure that they have proper boundaries so that they don't go back with a narcissist. To make sure they have boundaries so they don't get involved with another narcissist, whatever it might be. There's many different ways we're trying to do that on a day-to-day basis, whether that's through the Narc app, having exclusive lives in there, or monthly coaching. We want to be able to educate people on what narcissism is. Because it's huge. And there's a lot of you watching this video here today that you've felt crazy. If that's you, I want you to leave a comment down below saying, hey, this is me. I feel crazy. In this relationship, I felt crazy. I feel better now. I don't feel better now. This is something I'm still working through because that crazy making is so hard to get out of. What's made up of that crazy making? Well, one aspect is gaslighting, making you believe something is not true when it actually is. So like, my shirt isn't red, my shirt is actually blue. Like making you believe that to a point that you look at someone else and you're like, no, his shirt's actually blue. For all the colorblind people, I might have just messed with you. But like, that's the idea of gaslighting. And gaslighting is a very insidious form of making it feel like it is something that's wrong with you. It's your perception, it's your reality that's wrong. Then you have love bombing, devaluing. You have the way the narcissist builds you up and tears you back down. And that crazy making feels insane. Like you don't have a clue of what's going on. You probably wonder because you started off with a narcissist and maybe you had love bombing in the beginning, maybe you didn't. Maybe you had an aspect of this is all the different attributes that the narcissist said that they loved about me. Now it seems like those exact things are the things that they hate about me. And it's true because it is. This is why narcissists a lot of times will get with someone who is of higher status or higher pay. And they get with that person thinking this is going to make me look better. This is going to take care of me. This is going to X, Y, and Z. And then they get with that person, they realize, wow, this doesn't make me feel any better about myself because I'm still the problem. The crazy making happens from the ideas of always having shifting standards, of the narcissist always moving that goalpost. One more step, one more step, one more step. And you're always trying to reach that. You're always trying to find that. And you can never find it. The reason you can never find it is because if you ever met them exactly where they wanted you to be, then the narcissist would have to stop and realize that they're the problem in the relationship. But they don't want to do that. The shame that flows underneath narcissism riddles them with the aspect that they will never look and acknowledge the guilt, the shame, and take accountability and responsibility for the things that they have done or that they are doing. The crazy making also happens with compartmentalization, where they box up different emotions and you're sitting there crying and you're just only like, why isn't this person showing any type of emotion? Well, it's boxed up, it's put away. They don't have to deal with it. And then your emotion becomes their inconvenience, their frustration, and they lash out at you. They take it out on you because they're inconvenienced by what's going on. I think one of the biggest things that comes to crazy making in the forms of narcissism is the fog. There's been an acronym, I forget who came up with it. There's been an acronym that people came up with that stands for FOG, which is fear, obligation, and guilt. And when narcissists put fear, obligation, and guilt on you, picture this. They take you out into the center of a field. And they leave you standing in the center of the field. And they start to bring in these clouds and this fog. They start to bring in all these different things that obstruct your view of where you are. They bring in the fear of leaving you. They bring in the fear of how they're going to retaliate. They bring in the fear of how they're going to reject you or lash out at you. They bring in obligation of, well, if you love me, you would spend time with me. Well, this is our family, so you're supposed to stay with me. This is our religion, so it means we're supposed to stay married. And they bring in guilt of everything that they've done, projecting it on you. Well, this wouldn't have happened if you hadn't looked through my phone. This wouldn't be this way if you would respect me. I wouldn't yell at you if you did this. And that fear, obligation, and guilt starts to just come around and spread around you so much in that field that you can't see anything. You don't know what's right, left, up, down, and you don't know the direction you're supposed to go. And as you stand in that field wondering which way to go, all you can typically hear is one voice in the middle of the fog, and that's the narcissist. The narcissist saying, go this direction, look this way, ignore this person. And they breed about that isolation that separates you from your friends, from your family, from your coworkers, from anybody else around, thinking that only you have to communicate with them. And it's not that the narcissist comes out and says, you can't do this. No, but they make you pay for it afterwards. Or they tell you how much you don't care about them because you're spending time with someone else. Or they put in those small subtle digs saying, hey, this person said this about you. Or they fabricate a lie that you don't cooperate with someone else. And you realize all of a sudden you're isolated in the middle of a field with the fog. And that fear, obligation, and guilt puts you in a fog where the narcissist is the only one who can change your perspective, who can only tell you which direction to go. And a lot of people are stuck in that. It's the aspect of a trauma bond where they don't know how to get out of the fog. They don't know how to get out of that field that the narcissist has put the fog all around them. The fog can only be lifted. The fog can only be pushed away. The fog can only be seen through when we start to clear away that fear, obligation, and guilt, and we start to view where you are in the truth of the situation, acknowledge the facts of what's going on, and start to build a plan to move forward. That's what I do with people on a day-to-day basis. I try to help them break out of the trauma bond that they're stuck in, get through the detox phase of getting away from a narcissist, and build a new future of having boundaries in their past and in their future. So they don't get with a narcissist, so they don't go back to a narcissist, and so they also don't get with a narcissist down the road. I want you to know here and now that you're not crazy. You're not. So many people watching this video being like, well, yeah, but you don't know my situation. Yeah, you don't know what I've been going through. Like, I feel like crazy. I responded this way. I acted this way. You're not crazy. And you're not alone. You're not crazy because everything that you've been through, all the abuse, all the emotional manipulation, all the gaslighting, all the lies, everything that you've been through and how you're responding right now is actually normal based on what you've been put through. Doesn't feel normal, doesn't feel right, doesn't feel good at all. but you're not crazy. And the second thing I said is you're not alone. Look down the comment section. Leave your own story. Leave your own message to the people, to the survivors that are here. Go to the NARC app, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community, and see almost 3,600 people that have downloaded and logged into that app. You are not alone. There's a lot of people who have been through the same shit that you're going through. Sometimes people get on one-on-ones and they're like, this is probably the craziest one-on-one you've ever had, and we get through it, and I'm like, no, it's not. Like, it's actually pretty normal. And people don't realize that this abuse, that narcissism, is pretty normal. And when you feel crazy after going through that abusive relationship, that's actually normal too. You're not crazy. And you're not alone. And the thing you can do now is you can acknowledge where you actually are. You might be in the middle of the field with all that fog. Let's focus on getting you the facts of the situation, the truth of what's been demonstrated, what's been shown to you. Let's clear that fog and let's build a plan from where you are now to where you'll be in the future. You're not going to go back to the old person you were. You're going to go forward into transforming the person you will now become. And each day you're becoming a better person that's going to grow and develop themselves. That's what we're here for. Raw Motivations, that's what I run, stands for awareness, growth, healing, and change. I hope you join us today.